Go there with me. Just picture this. We really thought we knew him as we answered his call and followed. What a mismatched band of men we were, sailing off into tomorrow. I never knew a man who worked so hard and spend himself like him. And at last I saw him finally lay down. His whole light was growing dim. And he slept. And the darkness came. As did the wind, and that lake became a beast. It howled and roared and reached for us, 13 mortals, for its feast. And all I believed now seemed like a lie, and nothing made any sense as waves of terror swept over my soul, each one even more intense. I felt my way to the back of that boat to where I'd seen him lay. So human was he that in his fatigue, despite his pounding waves, he slept. Like a man unaware there was any reason for fear. Like one who knew just where he was going and what he was doing here. And this desperate thought broke through my fear as my panic reached its peak. It erupted out as a hostile question. I couldn't help but speak. "We're going to die," I cried out loud to the one who led us there. "You said let's go over, but we're going under. How is it that you don't care?" And at first he said nothing, but it seemed to be struggling with a mind not fully awakened. But straight from his dream, right into our nightmare, still he wasn't the least bit shaken. He stood up suddenly and steadied himself. With one hand he held to the ropes, like holding the reins of a stallion. He rode that rising and falling boat, one hand on the ropes and one hand in the air, as we cowered along the sides. He confronted the beast that caused us to cower. So frightened, so terrified. The words that he spoke, they were not a request. And they were not a victim's plea. No, his words were not louder than the howl of the wind or the roar of Galilee, but his words carried power. Undeniable power that even the force of the wind had to flee. Mightier than the thunder of great waters, mightier than the breakers of the sea. He spoke to that storm like it was a dog. And his command muzzled its jaw, and it fled with its tail tucked in its legs as we huddled in silence and awe. And everything was quiet upon hearing his words. Water, the earth, and the sky. But none were as silent and speechless as we, who just witnessed this with our eyes. This man who took lordship over nature, for whom nature humbly complied, now turned his gaze upon us little men, just beginning to slowly rise. "Why were you frightened?" he asked us. "How is it that you have no faith?" We had no answer to give him. And looking back, we could only say that we were afraid of all that was against us because we didn't realize what manner of man it was that we followed and trusted with our very lives. We had no answer for his question of us, but we had questions of our own, and someone did finally speak those words that still echo in my soul. What manner of man is he? He is still more than I can know.